first, fair, accurate. From our newsrooms in Eugene, Roseburg, and Coos Bay, KVAL News starts now.
Homelessness is on the rise on the West Coast, including in Lane County. Good evening, I'm David Walker. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have live team coverage this evening. First, to KVAL's Kelsey Christensen. Kelsey, Lane County reporting the homeless population is up 32% since last year.
David, that's right. Lane County officials are attributing the rise to increased housing costs and low wages. According to the 2019 unhoused point-in-time count, 2,165 people are experiencing homelessness in the county. That's up about 30% from last year. 1/3 of those people report living with a mental illness. 1/4 report alcohol and substance abuse. Susan Ban with Shelter Care says many people struggle with affordable housing.
A lot of folks in our community who are just standard, two-parent, two-job households with kids who are having a hard time putting together the money that's necessary to pay what rentals are.
411 people were in alternative shelter programs such as Dusk to Dawn during the count. I'll tell you what Lane County is doing to combat those stats coming up at 6. David?
All right, Kelsey, thank you. Whiteburg Clinic is one service that helps the homeless. The clinic's crisis program in Eugene is expanding and moving this summer to a new home in the Whitaker area. KVAL's Tom Adams is live at the project site on West 7th in Eugene. He has more on Whitebird's plans to set up a crisis campus. Tom?
Well, hi, David. It is, in fact, a remodeling time for the Whitebird Agency at this old house on West 7th, which actually used to be a facility for the Lane County Medical Society. By the middle of summer, though, this place will have an entirely different mission. It'll be the agency's new home for walk-in crisis services, expanded space for counseling clients, and much more space for its telephone crisis line staff. As we talked about in the last story, more of those clients come from the ranks of the homeless in the West Eugene Whitaker area.
Folks who are out on the streets having a hard time connecting with services and just need some support and kind of a foothold to be able to start making next steps, hopefully towards transitioning back into housed.
Now, Ben Brubaker says right next door is the home base for Whitebird's Cahoots Mobile Crisis Unit, so they can better coordinate the services to meet the needs of those on the street. The agency is investing about $80,000 right now to remodel this facility for its new use. Coming up on KVAL News at 6, much more on that revised program and when it'll be up and running. David, back to you.
All right, Tom, thank you. Laurel Elementary School in Junction City was put on lockdown earlier today. Police tell us an incomplete 911 was the reason. Authorities got that call just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Police say they couldn't determine if the children in the background were screaming or laughing before the call ended. 2 Junction City police officers were first on the scene.
Upon contacting school personnel immediately entering the building, they advised of some suspicious circumstances that occurred just prior to our arrival. We are uncertain at this time whether those conditions are related to this incomplete call.
Morris didn't give us information about the suspicious circumstance. He did say at no time were any lives in jeopardy. Morris says this is an ongoing investigation. We have new information tonight in the case of water contamination in Myrtle Creek. City officials there directing residents to stop using the water this week after test results showed low levels of gas and diesel in the water system. Well, on Tuesday, city officials and the Department of Environmental Quality were on site at a private property where it appeared a vehicle had driven off the road into a 25-foot ditch along a driveway. It's about half a mile upstream from one of the city's surface water intakes. Contractors dug up the contaminated soil and planted absorbents to remove the chemical. Later in the afternoon, the city says another test showed the water was safe to drink and use. The DEQ is still investigating. And time for a look at the forecast here on Wednesday. The sunshine out a little sooner today. We have a live look outside at the sunshine now. Chief Meteorologist Travis Knudsen joining us. Travis, how warm did it get today?
Well, it was a nice one around the region. Temperatures finally above average, and right now is pretty much the warmest part of the day. So mid-70s is where many of us saw the high temperatures for this Wednesday. A little bit cooler on the coast, where the clouds stuck around a little bit longer today, keeping things from warming up. Florence at 58 degrees, but Eugene is at 75 in comparison to Roseburg, so close to that 80-degree mark. But if you were feeling it today, it was probably the grasses that were bothering you in regards to allergies, which was on the high side. And as we get into the weekend, well, we'll start to really see that pollen pick up around the area, so grab that medication if you are a sufferer. Satellite and radar overhead, nice and clear for us, but once again, seeing some showers and thunderstorms pop up over the Cascades and Central Oregon. Much of that moisture will stay out off to the east, out of our area. But here's a look at what's to come tonight. Skies pretty clear. Overnight lows around 50 degrees. Tomorrow will be another gray start to the day with sunshine filtering through for the afternoon. And if you're hoping for some widespread 80s, well, they're on the way. I'll tell you when they get here, coming up in just a few minutes.
In Salem, state lawmakers are working on a bill to prevent a government shutdown in Oregon. The new law would be used if legislators and the governor don't sign bills into law before June 30th. That's the last day of their budget cycle. Without that House bill in place, state agencies would have to close their doors if their budget is not approved before the deadline.
What it does is it gives continuing authority for agencies to spend budgets if they don't have a budget that's signed into law by the end of this current biennium, which ends on June 30th of 2019.
Now tonight on KVAL News at 6, Angelina Dixon goes in depth with House Bill 5048 that safeguards state agencies for this legislative session. Well, have you ever seen a scorpion in Lane County? Odds are you haven't, but it's not because they're not here. The forest scorpion is the most common scorpion in western Oregon, though they're rarely seen by people. We talked with entomologist Jim Labonte with the Oregon Department of Agriculture to find out if those scorpions are a risk to humans.
There's a possibility that someone would be unduly sensitive, just like people are sensitive to bee stings. But under normal circumstances, no. We have only 3 species known from Oregon. None of them are known to be very venomous.
Labonte described the sting of a forest scorpion as less intense than a honeybee sting. On KVAL News at 6, we talk with someone who had a close encounter with one of those scorpions. We'll find out why the normally covert critter might be spotted near homes. Well, next on KVAL News at 5, Senator Ron Wyden talking about recent abortion laws passed around the country.
I'm James Rosen at the White House, where I'll bring you President Trump's response to the parting words of Robert Mueller.